everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today we are watching Freezerassasin in the Myoko, the Tier 7 Japanese cruiser. He's on the map Trident in a 3-point domination game mode, and it's a Tier 7 battle. There is no carrier around, and there aren't a lot of destroyers around. So we shall see how this turns out. Now, considering the matchmaking these days, Tier 7 is a very good tier for you, because, well, a Tier 6 battle can only have Tier 5 and Tier 6 ships and not Tier 4s, and a Tier 5 battle can only have Tier 4s and Tier 5s, no Tier 3s, so it's harder for the matchmaker to find to feel like a Tier 5 or a Tier 6 battle, so Tier 5s and 6 will often end up in Tier 7s in my experience. And, well, let's take a look at how this battle is starting. The friendly destroyer is trying to take B, an enemy destroyer is trying to contest that. Somebody has started to capture A, so this has to be the second destroyer, and we can already see a smoke screen here. Now, unfortunately, Freezer here is using a catapult fighter and not hydroacoustic surge. That's how it's called. So, yeah, on the bright side, the Hatsuharu has decided to leave his smoke screen, which is probably unwise. And we can expect torpedoes coming this direction. Now, this one torpedo looks like a problem. I think he's turning here too far, but he's realizing his mistake and he can stop his turn in time. So the torpedoes missed, and this Hatsuharu is probably pretty doomed. Oh, it looks like there aren't many ships coming this way, which is good news for Freezer because, well, cruisers tend to be very squishy and you don't want to be under fire. Here he is leading the charge, his team is still lagging behind. And, well, hopefully he can deal with the enemy destroyer before the torpedo tubes reload, otherwise this could be very uncomfortable here. And while the destroyer is burning, it might need like one more salvo to finish him off. Oh, miss. So hopefully he can deal with the destroyer. Now those ships are a potential problem. Battleships can really hurt the cruiser, and he is showing broadside currently to launch his torpedoes and in order to get away. He probably wants to use this island a little bit as cover, but when you execute such turns and the battleship is currently reloaded, you can get punished quite heavily for it. But it all worked out really well. The friendly reinforcements finally arrive. Looks like the enemy team will get C pretty much for free. The friendly team will take A, and, well, it looks good at B for the friendly team, but there might be some enemies who can contest that, we shall see. Now, in a domination game, it's usually the team that has more capture points has the advantage, because they can win by simply accumulating enough points. So time favors them and they can play more passive, and if your team has less capture points, they usually have to play more aggressive. But it also comes down to how many points you already have and how many ships you have left, stuff like that. But it's a good start for the friendly team. They somehow have lost the destroyer inside B, and I'm not sure if this battleship will be able to cap this point. But so far it's looking good. Now what they should probably do is take all this force and just push straight into B. And there is a fire on the New Mexico, that's nice. Always want to keep the enemy battleships burning if possible. There is another fire. This poor guy is pretty screwed if he can't get rid of those fires. And what's even better is, it seems none of those ships is shooting at a freezer here for some reason. Well, yeah, okay, I guess there might be some incoming fire. Now, ideally, you'd have the battleships at the front. Now, there is a battleship here in a pretty aggressive position. I think he's trying to capture B. Hopefully, those ships here will move to support him, and this fleet should be maybe a little bit more aggressive, especially those battleships. Those battleships, sorry, should go straight in this direction towards B. Now, there is an enemy battleship coming here. That island protects Freezer from his fire, and there will probably be a duel of those two battleships, but the König here is already damaged. So I guess the friendly ship should be able to deal with that. Unfortunately, even though this friendly battleship is so close to a lot of enemies, he is kinda cut off from reinforcements because of this island. I don't think those ships have shots on the König. And meanwhile, Freezer is just continuing to torment this New Mexico. There is a fire again, and yeah. Also surprisingly, the enemies still haven't managed to capture point C, and their force, we only see a few ships spotted currently, so they are somewhere, but not really where they should be. And there is an arsonist achievement. And, well, it's still pretty early in the game. So, when I look at the minimap here, I'm guessing this battle will end up in a ram. And probably sink both ships. If you look at the minimap here, they seem to be really close together already. And Freezer is hoping he can support his teammate here somehow, but yeah, not gonna happen. Those are both dead. Now this fleet is here moving slowly towards B again. I'd like it if those battleships were a little bit more aggressive. Those guys here in the north, they might have spotted more ships here that they are retreating from. They should probably also try to... I mean, the whole team probably should try to meet up at B. It's not like the enemies are really defending this point, right? It's just that nobody really seems to care about capturing it so far. Now Freezer is on the way inside this point. Of course, he has to be careful. He is only a cruiser, and he actually doesn't really want to be at the front line. He would like to have a battleship or battleships in front of him where he can stay behind and provide fire support. Now, thankfully, he has islands to use as cover, and the enemies are not that interested in him for some reason. So he has that going for him. Now, hopefully, this York will really soon sink. There is a fire, but I guess, yeah, he was able to repair that, so he needs another salvo. Hopefully that salvo will finish him off. There is also a low health Aetam, which is probably his next target, to limit the enemy guns that are firing at him. And currently he has the attention of quite a few ships, I guess. Although again, there is an island providing him some cover. So I guess a lot of those ships might ignore him. There are also some ships here engaging those enemies. Also, always when I talk about those battleships and that I'd like them more in the front, you have to keep in mind battleships aren't that fast. So depending on how you first approach the point A, you might be lagging behind the whole game. So I think as a battleship driver you really have to plan ahead, especially if your ship is very slow. Because I mean, I've been also in situations where I felt like I was always too late to the battle, even if I always tried going towards it. And here he's setting up a torpedo ambush for this New Mexico. I'm not sure if it will work. He can lob some shells here at another New Mexico. And you know what? Let's just look at those torpedoes and see if they can accomplish anything. The New Mexico is turning away. But, well, yeah, I think there might be some hits here. And yep, there was a hit. There were 2 hits. There were 3 hits. So then New Mexico turned too late and took quite a bit of damage. Now, once again, the enemy team here, they are all here up in the north and they aren't even trying to fight for those points. And yeah, the friendly ships, they are all moving towards the enemy, which is pretty nice to see. And well, here is the Kraken. Now by sneaking up somewhat behind the enemy, they are kind of all ignoring him and are focusing down on those ships, I guess. He's also currently capturing the point C. Still nobody has taken B so far, which is amazing. And yeah, Freezer is sitting here and dishing out the damage, capturing their point, and the enemies aren't even noticing it so far. I would expect at least the New Mexico to turn his turrets this way. But then again, the turrets on a battleship turn very slowly and he might not want to turn his ship, and because he would offer his broadside to some battleships here or something. But still, he is... I'm surprised that Freezer is getting ignored that hard. I mean, he would have been so easy to interrupt by Cap. But I mean, he can see that nobody is shooting at him and he is making the best of this situation, as he should. So hopefully he will get a few more fires going on that New Mexico. I think this is a pretty sure win by now. Obviously it's a very sure win, I guess, but you know, the friendly team only has 4 ships left as well, so I guess it could turn around, but it doesn't look like it. Also, considering that all those ships are kind of running away from the objective. Well, except I guess this cruiser is coming for it. He's finally noticed that there is a cruiser shooting the New Mexico in the back, and the New Mexico is way too late reacting to the situation. Now he's switching to armor piercing. I guess he's expecting this cruiser to show him his broadside. And I think he also might want to use his torpedoes here, but he's... I mean, this cruiser is shooting him with armor piercing and he is showing his own broadside currently. That can get punished quite severely. And yep, that's kind of what happened, so... But he is getting his torpedoes off, so... Hopefully these torpedoes will land a hit. And yes, they do. So turning his broadside might have cost him his own life, but he took the enemy with him. And there is the win. So let's take a look at the results. Freezerassasin in his Myoko managed to get 3188 base experience and 7 kills. Certainly very well done by him. He was sort of always in front of his team and leading the charge, which can be pretty dangerous in a cruiser, but he cleverly used islands as concealment, and well, for some reason the enemies also were not that interested in him, so still, certainly very well played by him. He got himself Arsonist, Kraken, Devastating Strike, High Caliber, and it's just a flesh wound. He managed to do 158,000 points of damage, and yeah, I really enjoyed watching this replay. I hope you did so as well, and I'll see you guys next time.